On your marks, get set, go. There, that was the intro. It wasn't the intro. It's the Talkover podcast.
On your marks, get set, go. White flag.
DJ Double and DJ Stylus
Pew, 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 pew.
in the building.
What's going on? What Greasy? How you doing, bro?
Bro, it's been so long.
I know. So if people only knew how we really do this podcast.
Yeah, well, exactly.
We're back again. We're back, man.
Trampy, wearing the same clothes as last time.
This
Yeah,
Japan top's starting to smell a bit dusty.
it's an interesting one. We've got like two different topics to cover today.
We've got a list of topics, really. Like when we first started the podcast, we was like, let's write a gigantic list of like topics we want to touch on, and we just kind of roll through them.
We have 400 years worth of content
Literally.
ready to record.
Literally.
This week, one thing that really, really bugs me, I don't mean to start on a gripe, but
This guy's got straight in.
one thing that really bugs me is a lot of people on social media going out of their way to show everyone else that they have the sickest club set and look how sick the club is tonight, even though it's not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And you know, there's a couple of tricks I see people use where they'll just show the DJ equipment and they'll be playing a banging tune, like can't take that away from them, but they won't show anything
The
about
disguise shot.
Yeah, or the disguise shot. Yeah,
The
there's a name for it.
disguise shot.
Or they've got like a mediocre night with a less than dead crowd and they'll wait until they're playing the biggest tune of the moment and
God's
everyone's God's plan is right now. And
That was the one of the summer.
and they'll just film that part of the night, even though they're pretty dead for the whole night. The vibe is dead. They're not really feeling it. The club isn't feeling it. Just that one moment was a hype moment for them. Do you know what I mean? And or even just something as simple as coming out and just tweeting, I proper shelled down or such and such, just to put it out there that they were active that night. Now, I get the need for promotion. I get the need for putting yourself out there and showing that you are active. But why the fuck you lying? Like, just don't,
I
just
think
don't
it's
lie. Just don't lie. I think
I think a lot of DJs feel like they have to constantly be promoting their stuff, innit? So like even when they're out and say they've had 2 or 3 gigs over a weekend and they haven't been that great, like I guess they still feel the need. They still got to post like positive stuff around what they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like
what I'm saying.
I don't anymore. I stopped posting while I'm in the club. You very rarely, you might see me once every now and again. You might see me in a club do a little thing, but I stopped doing it because I'm like, if you want to come and see me play, come to the club.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Like I don't want to be. I used to do these things. I'll be like, the decks and like
what did you call it?
The disguise shots, like all these things. Like when I used to be on Snapchat and stuff. And now I'm just like, do you know what? I'm comfortable like in what I'm doing. Like whether the club's shit, whether it's great, whether it's not, I'm gonna do my thing regardless. So I'm just like, if people want to come to the rave, then come see me. You don't need to see me through Insta or me.
Nothing to prove.
Or me just pointing at the decks.
That's
like,
the thing. And don't get
no
me wrong,
offense,
like,
DJs that do that, but nobody wants to watch that shit.
No,
Like,
nobody cares.
Just
Literally
looking
nobody
at the
cares.
deck, if you, I get it, man. People will still be pushing out content. Like it's sick. Like it's sick. I'm not hating on that at all. But just think for a second. Like the people, would you want to watch that of somebody else? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Would I want to be watching someone just pointing at the decks and nothing's going on? I wouldn't.
Especially everyone else.
So
is
why
clocked in
would
now,
other
because
people?
if your place was popping, you would be pointing it at the crowd.
Yep.
The thing for me, and don't get me wrong, I
It's not a hating thing either, man. It's just
from the club.
observational.
I do post from the club. I understand the reason for posting from the club, but I will
100.
never post from the club if it's crap. I won't I always like to obviously protect the promoters that I'm working for because
Yeah.
they're not
There's that
crappy
there as
promoters,
well, man.
etc. Promoters have good nights and bad nights. It's just how it goes. But you'll never see me be like, tonight was absolutely sick, but really like it wasn't sick. It was less than mediocre. More often than not, I will tweet something, or just for example, like it's quite common. You'll see me on Twitter. I'll tweet about shit like I clanged too much tonight. Do you know what I mean? Or like, I might do like the worst mix I've ever done. That's the type of stuff I might post about on Twitter.
It's better to be like that, man, and just be honest. And like, I think people warm to the realness more than just being like at the end of every set, yo, smacked it, the greatest set or whatever. But not every set is a great set. I don't care what anyone says. If I have a shit set, like, I know, and I leave at the end of the night, it hurts me. I'm a little bit depressed. Even when I wake up the next day, I'm like, ugh, not really. Whether it's because the crowd weren't on it, or like your set's been on it, but the crowd just hasn't took it very well, or the club's just been dead in general. Like,
the worst is if you've travelled for them ones. Bro, I've done ones where I've flown to Bulgaria.
I don't even want to bait anyone up right now.
No, I'll bait myself up.
I've done some long fucking journey, excuse my language.
I've flown to Bulgaria before, spent half a day there, gone to the club, done a less than mediocre set, gone back to the airport and flown home. Like,
the travel ones are hard.
Do you know what I mean? And like, bad club sets really do exist. Like, you cannot,
100%.
You cannot be 100% of the time.
No.
Like, I don't care. Like, even the best.
Not
DJ,
when you're doing the grind that we're doing. Like, if you're like a show DJ and you're going out once or twice a week doing an hour and you've got your specific set,
if it's
but you're playing to a crowd where you know they're just gonna take it. Do you know what I mean? Like the big, like the festival-y crowds or like your warehouse crowds or whatever. We're living a different life. We're doing 4 or 5 nights a week, 5-hour sets, 4-hour sets, then the guest sets. Like when I get a guest set on a weekend for an hour or two, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. It's an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to squeeze all this shit in. Like, compared to doing like 5 hours. So when I get a guest set, like, I don't feel, it don't feel right just playing an hour to me.
I don't like doing hour-long guest sets. I think we might have
we've already touched on it. We've already touched on this on previous podcasts.
I don't like doing an hour one, and it's almost because I feel like I haven't got into the zone. So whenever I've done hour-long guest sets, I always feel like I haven't smashed it.
You've not even worked up a sweat,
that's the thing. I've just learned.
You guys have got it so
literally,
easy.
Yeah, like 40 minutes in is when you really kind of, I feel, I'm in. Do you know what I mean? I've been jogging and I'm warmed up. I'm ready
you need
for
at least 20,
30
minutes just to get the aura of the room that you're in.
Yeah.
Feel out the people that are in the room. Like, that's not something that you can just learn overnight either. That takes years of like,
if you're in different
practice
areas
and being in the field, man. Like, I'm telling you now, I like to, even now in my residency, still after years, I still like to feel out the place every week for the first hour, because you just don't know who's going to come in that night.
Yeah.
The crowd chops and changes, like different crowds come in. So I'll always use that first hour to decide like my direction of my set, where I'm going to go. But you can't have a pristine set every single time. Anybody that says they're having the best set after every set, I'm sorry, but full of shit. I'm sorry, but it's a lie.
Yeah,
like, it is.
I think because of the social media pressures and stuff, I feel like a lot of younger DJs and a lot of new DJs, they feel under pressure to actually put that out. Like, look at me, I'm smashing it all the time. Like, I'm doing shellings every night, 7 nights a week, I'm smacking it and everything's sick. Like, the other thing as well, it's not on you purely as a DJ, because the crowds are changing. Mm-hmm. The energy in the crowd is changing. People are turning up for the first 15 seconds of a song while their Instagram story's on. Yeah. Then they're standing still waiting for the next drop.
Oh, do you know what?
And they're going home when the phone battery's like, bro, have you noticed this?
Bro, I'm so glad you just said that, bro. It's not even that, like, the comment just then about the way the crowds have changed. Like, people just absorb shit totally different now. Oh, it's mad. I had the same conversation with Q last night, and then I had the same conversation with my missus the night before, and I was saying how I don't like the way it's gone, the way it is now. Obviously, it's my job. I love my music. I love everything that I do about DJing, but the way some of these crowds and the way some of these clubs have headed, and the way people absorb this music is shit. I'm not feeling it. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not feeling it.
100%.
And like the amount of times throughout a night, and you look out on the floor and you're just like, like, are these having this or not? Like, but it's just the way people take stuff in now. It's just completely different.
Yeah, and also as a DJ, I don't know about you, but I always take things very personally if the crowd is not jumping the whole time. If they're not looking like every single person is vibing, I take it very personally. But you forget about certain factors.
Yep.
You forget about, they might have paid 25 quid to come in. They might have just been rinsed at the bar. They might have just had someone step on their brand new shoe. Not every person there, but you mean they might be low on their battery. Even something as simple, yeah, and some people might be like, nah, no way. The club might not have reception and might have crap Wi-Fi. So you might have 1,000 people in front of you all fucking suffering from anxiety because they can't get on Instagram.
That's true.
As stupid as it sounds, this is actually a reality.
It's easy to stand in the booth and like beat yourself up over stuff, but you've got to like you've got to put yourself out on the floor as well. Like I'll try and imagine it from the ravers' point of view and like what they're all going through on the floor. Like you say, everyone's in their own mind doing their own thing. Some people ain't just feeling every song that you're playing, or they've got their own situation going on, or like you say, someone's dashed drink all over the crepes or whatever. Like I'm exactly the same as you. When I look out on the floor and I don't see the energy, I'm quite a high energy DJ. Like I like to mix quite fast. I like to keep people on the toes. Even a 5-hour set, I will try and keep that level as high as I can for that whole set. There's always a little dip in there because it's 5-6 hours, so you're gonna dip. But I'll always try and keep that energy at a certain level. But it's flipping.
That's the other thing as well, man. These people are out there properly drunk.
Yep.
They might not have the energy. So after 2 hours of really turning up, some of them are
it's
unfit.
conveyor belts.
Some of them are smokers. Like they
going
haven't
out
got
having fags. People going to the bar.
Stamina.
Like, it chops and changes, isn't it? You see the waves throughout the night when you do the full set. It's like I'll have like a wave at the start where you have the early bunch, like the elder lot come in, they'll do the thing, and then like the girls will sweep through to like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and they're in there. Then the man them come and mix in with him. Then from like 1:30 onwards, it's man them going in, grime, the hardest shit. Like and obviously we see the whole like
the progression.
Yeah, the whole progression of it, man. But it's like conveyor belt stuff, like some venues. It's only when. It's like when we had Jam. I always use Jam as an example, but when we had Jam, it was a solid crowd that come for a specific reason, which was the music, and they would come and stay there all night, and everyone would be on the same page. So you could get that electric vibe of everybody feeding off the music, like, and that was when every set probably was sick because you knew what you were getting. It was our crowd. It wasn't like when you get booked to play in a bar. I mean, people are coming through there. So it's like the crowd will change throughout the night when you build a brand around something specific, which ours was new music, like the cool shit that no one else is really playing. The crowd came for that every single time, so you could engage them.
That's a
from start to finish.
That's an amazing segue into the other topic we were going to discuss, using Jam as the perfect blueprint about DJs should collaborate more with each other. And should link up more and do more things together. Jam, obviously, UG2 and Fusion, like banged your heads together, pause, and then came with the idea to have a music-led event.
We just knew
use your power in the city and dominate that.
Yeah, it was that reason. Like we were all doing our thing individually anyway. Like me and Fusion grew up on the same estate. We always knew of each other as DJs, and like he was more of like baseline and the hard grime shit before he ended up going into the clubs. Me and G2 were already doing like bits and bobs together, and it was one of them. It was like the teamwork makes the dream work kind of thing, and we just knocked heads, and we never even thought it would go anywhere to start with. It was a one-off event. Pause. And then when we see it, pause. We did it as a one-off, and then after that we locked the venue completely off. Not in a bad way. It was a super rammed. Couple hundred people didn't get in, and we were like, shit, man, we've actually got something here. Do you know what I mean? And like it was just a natural thing that ended up happening and building into a 4 or 5 year like run of events. But I completely agree, man. I think greatness happens when you team up with like-minded people, man.
Proper, man. I just don't think we see it enough in the DJ world. Like there's some prime examples of people that have teamed up together. Andy P and Martin Too Smooth as a
superhero DJs.
Yeah, there's another guy. This is so disrespectful because I don't know his name.
Rewire's involved.
Rewire.
There was another guy, but I think don't shoot me, guys, if you watch this. I'm sure they swapped him over.
But there's 3 of them essentially.
Put in a transfer request.
Martin, Andy, and did you say Rewire?
Yeah, I think he's the other guy, the other dude in superhero.
So there you go. There's the 3 of them. But even Andy and Martin work really well and very closely together, and you see them doing a lot of stuff together. They've got their brands and their nightclubs that the night events that they put on. Obviously, you and I were doing the Talkover podcast.
Yep.
This is the result of two ideas. It's an idea that I had to do something, an idea that you had, and we merged the two and blended them together. So both of our...
And we live at other ends of the country, mate. So
yeah,
it's
we're
not as if
that's
this
the
is,
thing.
it's
We
not
live
an
300
easy,
miles away from each other.
Exactly, it's not an easy thing to do.
But we have created a platform and we've created a place and like a voice for DJs.
Yep.
And that this thing here is an idea. It's half of an idea that I had, half an idea you had, that's come together and made this really sick idea. The other thing, just talking about me and you, I think the first time we collaborated was the Underground Kings project.
Yes, sir.
When we started, before UK rap and grime was popping,
Way
we were
before.
like, what is this now, like 5 years ago, maybe more?
Yeah, I was
probably
looking
like
at-
6 years ago.
We've done that. Yeah, the first mixtape was.
It might have even been longer than that, bro, you know.
It might have been longer than 5 years. I think it's like 6 or 7 at least.
Where we
I
were
think.
like, right, no one's really listening to UK music like that right now.
Not the way we were championing it then, anyway.
No, let's praise the UK artists that aren't properly getting the shine.
Yeah.
Underground Kings, boom, and then that brand was born, and that was me and you working together again. I mean, there's others, Jordan and CJ Beats.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jordan and CJ.
Jordan was a DJ before Wide Awake, right?
Yeah, I think he was more production, and then obviously him and CJ from Wide Awake, and they're smacking it, man. Even like going back to the old crews, like your Ace and Viz, Rampages, these guys.
Yeah.
Like these crews that have come together and like created a madness. Like it's not for everyone, innit? Like some people like to just get about their own business. Like I fully get that, but just going off my own experience, like the best things that have happened during my career have been when I've collaborated with other people.
Me.
Like meeting double was like the best thing that ever happened to me, guys. What was I gonna say then? See this guy, he just throws me off, man. Guy's a dickhead. Greatness happens when you collaborate. In my own personal opinion, like, I do a lot of stuff solo, but like the biggest stuff that came around is when you team up with other people and you can delegate and like if you're good at that shit, you take care of that shit. I'm good at this shit. Like with this, like I like deal with like editing and whatnot. Like double sets up the light. Do you know what I mean?
I press record.
Just presses record. Do you know what I mean? Teamwork
laptop.
makes the dream work. I don't know, man. Even when it comes to praising other people's stuff as well, I think that's an important thing.
Yeah.
Like if I see something dope online and I think it's sick, I won't feel two ways about posting it out on my own shit and be like, obviously you don't want to cross over stuff too much if you've got a project going on and you don't just want to like nullify your own shit. But I'm not afraid to shout about what I think is dope.
Yeah,
whether it's
definitely.
a mix, whether it's a visual, or like it could be anything, man, or even like someone else's event. Like Prospect up in Scotland. Like if anyone speaks to me or goes Scotland, mate, you've got to go Tipsy. Best Sunday in the country. Like I'll say that to everybody.
Yeah, standard.
Or like if people ask me about other people's mixes or like dope DJs, like no matter when people are going in other cities, and you can just plug other people in.
See, this is the thing as well. Somebody actually said to me the other day, and I can't remember who it was and where. I can't even remember where I was, but someone said to me, "Oh, I followed DJ Stylus on Mixcloud because I watched your Talkover podcast and I wanted to hear his mix."
Sick.
And so they heard one of your
Sick.
mixes and listened. And that follower, granted, it's only one follower, but that person came your way because me and you had a project. So that's a follower of me, someone local who listens to me in the club, follows my social media. They're now aware of you. They're now your follower. Do you know what I mean? And this is kind of the point of where I was going with DJs should collaborate more. Think of yourself as a brand, innit? Think of like cross-branding. So like, cool, you have a certain fan base. You and I, we've discussed this. We're very, very similar DJs in our selection, in our style. Like everything that we do is very, very similar. You have Manchester on lock. I've got a fan base down south. What we're finding now is they're intertwining. I'm getting people from Manchester following me because I'm working with you.
Yep.
Which means when I get a club set in Manchester, I've got people in the building for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And vice versa. You have people down south that will know who you are and coming because you're there.
It builds avenues, man. Like every time I go around to these other cities, I always go out my way to make sure like I connect with these DJs and build like
Yeah, you've been very good
this
at it.
network of like just this network of musical minded people, DJs all over the country, man. Like, I don't think there's a city where I can't go where I can link with a DJ in that area, because I think that's so important and integral. Like, I think London is one of the only places where I've not networked as much, because it's so big here and there's so many DJs and the area is crazy. Like, I think like, what, big up Walshy, man. Walshy hit me up off the back of one of the podcasts, and he was like, oh, why don't you network with London DJs more? So I was like, oh, I do, and I know loads of DJs here, but this is probably one of the areas where I haven't connected in as much as I should have. Like, obviously within One Extra, and like obviously Martins and all the other guys, people that I've known for years, like people like Cable and everyone else, they've DJ'd at Jam.
I was going to say that wasn't because you've come to London, that's because they've come to your area.
Yeah, that's what, like, I've been bringing the London guys up to us effectively. So I've not, like, Walsh had a good point, like, London is one of the places where I've not connected in with as many people as I could have, because every time I come, I'm in and out.
Yeah,
You're
but also,
bro, like, it's hard here.
I'm just going to be real. Like, there's a lot of exceptions, but a lot of the London DJs are a bit too nice to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I hear that.
And it's a very, like, I don't know why. A lot of people think I am a London DJ. I'm actually not. I don't even DJ in London.
Mate, if you're from America, they think every DJ's from London.
But no, the thing is, people. What I've found, DJs in London, especially certain DJs from certain parts of the club scene, it's very oversaturated, so it's very competitive.
Yeah, I hear that.
And they don't like to help each other out. They don't like to help other DJs out. Like I say, this isn't every London DJ. There's a lot of different exceptions. A lot of exceptions to the rule, sorry. And a lot of DJs that I'm friends with from London, who I can call now, and if I need a favour, they'll help me out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the general consensus that I find is, I don't even know actually if it's just London. I find it with a lot of the DJs in the southeast.
Okay.
There are a lot of DJs that I'm cool with, but there are a larger number of DJs that wouldn't go out of their way.
It's like I said before, like, it's not everyone's cup of tea, this whole networking, linking up with other DJs. Some people will just protect what they have and just try and move forward like that. But like you say, that's not the way I've gone about business anyway. I think networking, teamwork, all that stuff is great, mate.
I think people
more of it.
But people need to realise the opportunities that are available. Like,
if you sit at home and don't collaborate and network with anyone, like, and it's just you, like, you're only gonna have your own doors. Yeah. Like, you have to move. I see it as like a tree full of loads of little branches. Yeah. And it's like 10 years of me DJing and networking, like, say, like, the UK is like a tree, and I've left all these little avenues into all these different cities and all these different areas, which has allowed me to travel and DJ in all these other places, because I think that is so important, bro. Every city, connect the DJs, collaborate where you can.
It's mad.
We do our stuff, the Spotify stuff I'm doing with Q. We've got our Underground Kings project, the events that we've done with Jam for years and years and years. That's all teamwork. DJs working together for the greater cause. And
that's the thing. And you know what? It is just like you say, it's all branches that lead off into different things. I've done stuff, and I've done, just for example, the August bank holiday. I went up to York, played in Jaloo. Shouts to John, big ups Dan.
Man like John.
Satoru.
Yes, John.
And Ignition as well there. And then the next night, big ups to Jax, big ups to, shouts to Dan as well in York. Sorry, I can't forget Dan.
Yeah.
Big ups to John again from Jaloo in Newcastle, and Jax and Eski.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a wicked weekend. I only had that because I've worked with you in the past, and that's how my part of that network in that 10%. Part of the country has
10% booking fee.
Yeah,
not the camera, mate.
10% battery,
that's 10% my payment, cause
do you know what I mean? So that opportunity only happened. I had an amazing weekend, and that only happened because you and I have collaborated on stuff, and because of that. Do you know what I mean? My network was expanded to include.
It naturally happens as well. Like, when you're just working with other people and building these branches out, like, these things just naturally happen.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like purposefully network with these people. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get all this work and whatever. Like, I just liked linking with these DJs, and chatting to everybody. And like I remember when I first got on Twitter and Facebook when it first came through, and I was adding all these DJs, and I'd just be in people's inboxes, like whether it's sharing music. Like I used to share music on MSN Messenger and that with like the old bass with like the old bassline producers and stuff. And like I remember having T2 on my MSN like long time ago, and he was sending out MP3s through MSN and shit. Like the networking goes back, mate. Obviously now it's just so much easier. With Instagram or whatever. Like I could go to like Italy and I'd search like people like, yo, let's link. Let's go and do some dope shit.
Ways, so if there's DJs watching now that are like, oh yeah, I want to collaborate, and they know who, like, how many different ways can they collaborate, do you think? So obviously there's Mixcloud mixes. I think Blighty and Jag Skills just did one together.
Yeah, Blighty does a back-to-back thing. I think it's like once a month he links with another DJ and puts them on his platform, and obviously he's got the biggest Mixcloud platform in the UK at the minute.
Doing very well.
So
he did one with Jag Skills. That was the one that I noticed.
Sick though, like that's bringing DJs onto his own platform and opening it out like that. That's quality, man. So big up to Blighty. But mixes, podcasting. Like even like I link up with a lot of like creative and visual people now, video people, like photographers, because I'm trying to do like all that separate stuff.
So video work, like
even if it's not to collaborate, it's just generally like building your circle up. And then obviously like we didn't intend on collaborating on projects when we first started networking and chatting to each other. It was just DJs networking and like being into the same shit, which has eventually accumulated in us doing like a couple of projects together. Like same with all my other stuff. Like I worked with G2 Infusion for years before Jam came around, and then we were like light bulb moment, and the rest was history. So I do encourage it, man. Like
so many opportunities, man. I think it's just it's a thing that's it's so underdone. That's not even a word, but you know what I mean. Like it's just it's something that doesn't happen. It's so rare.
Don't be afraid to shout about what you think is dope as well, man. Like,
that's the other thing as well. Praise your peers, man. Big up the other DJs. Like if you like something, just retweet. Don't stay silent and just like secretly, you know it's sick. Like I know that's sick, but you know what? I don't wanna show that it's sick because I'm a bit too nice and I'm a bit too like secretly I'm pissed off that I didn't do it.
Yo, I'm like super peak with I'm peak with the like button, me, bro. I like pure shit. So like if I'm going for
do you like everything that you like? And by that I mean, do you push the button on stuff on anything you don't like just to show love?
Do you know what? I probably used to, you know, but now, nah. Like I just like I cleared out my. I was following loads of people. I was playing this whole Instagram game, like following all that bullshit. I was like, nah. I cleared out, and I follow 1,000 people now of everyone's shit I like and I support. So I know when I go through my timeline, I'm feeling everyone's stuff that's going through there, innit? So like that's the way I've done it. Is what time's that on?
28.
Oh, that's going to go any second, you know.
It's going to go. We've got 60 seconds left.
We've got 60 seconds to wrap it up. Anyway, don't hate, appreciate. Don't be afraid to show love. Networking is king.
Teamwork
makes the dream work. Follow the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Subscribe, click the button, click the red button. Up.
Don't even ask me to collaborate, man. I'm too fucking busy.
Safe.